Hello, my name is Kelly Ann Atterbury. I'm a graduate student in the Department of Horticulture for Washington State University. And today, we're going to be demonstrating how to cook with pulses. What is a pulse, you ask? Pulses are plants in the legume family Fabaceae, and these plants grow pods that have edible seeds in them. They include dried beans, dried peas, garbanzo beans or chickpeas, and lentils. All pulse crops are nutrient-dense foods, meaning they're high in protein, high in dietary fiber, and they're also low in fat. They contain minerals such as iron and zinc, and vitamins such as folate and many others. Today, we're going to be focusing on cooking with dry beans, which is a pulse crop that grows well here in Washington. There's many different varieties of dry beans, such as the Rockwell, Pinto, small red, and the black bean, which is the bean we'll be cooking with today. The first step in cooking pulses is to soak them overnight. The exception to that rule is that you do not have to soak lentils before cooking them. Soaking beans allows them to absorb water. They double in size, and it takes less time to cook them when you do that. It also increases digestibility of the beans, and you're allowed to absorb more of their nutrients once they're soaked. So it's a very important step. You have your pot here and your beans. The general rule is for every 1 cup of uncooked dried beans, you need 3 cups of water. So I have 3 cups here, which means I will need 9 cups of water. Just pour it directly over. And let that sit overnight. After 8 to 12 hours of soaking your dry beans, place them on the stovetop. Once you've soaked your beans overnight, it's time to cook them. The stovetop method here takes an hour to an hour and a half to cook your beans. So if your time is limited, you can purchase canned beans, or you can cook them in a pressure cooker, which only takes 15 minutes. But this method here gives the beans a really nice texture. So first, turn your temperature to high and bring your beans to a boil. Then turn it down to medium and allow them to simmer for an hour to an hour and a half, or until your beans are done. And you'll know they're done because when you taste them, they'll be soft but still hold their shape. Now that we have cooked our black beans, it's time to make our first recipe, which is the black bean dip. This is a quick and versatile way to get your beans in. You can use this dip for dipping carrots, celery, cucumbers. You can put it on a sliced baguette, or you can put it on a quesadilla. We will need 3 cups of cooked black beans. We will also need 2 cloves of garlic minced, 1/3 cup of olive oil, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. We will need 1/2 teaspoon of the following: sea salt, black pepper, cumin, and dried red pepper flakes. And finally, you'll need 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. With your stand mixer, place in your 3 cups of cooked black beans. Mix on medium until well blended. Rev it up to high if you need to, just to break the beans up. Then, once those are mixed well, place in your 2 cloves of minced garlic, your 1/3 cup of olive oil, your 1/4 cup of lemon juice, you can use a strainer so you don't get the seeds and the pulp in there. Mix in your 1/2 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, your half a teaspoon of sea salt, black pepper, cumin, red pepper flakes, and your dried oregano. Put your mixer back down in and mix well. This takes a minute or so. You'll see it changing over time. And your final product is a delicious black bean dip. Next, we are making our second recipe, which is a bean dessert. This is a dessert that provides protein, dietary fiber, and nutrients through black beans. To make this recipe, we will need 3 cups of cooked black beans, 3 eggs, half a cup of olive oil, 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream or any other type of milk you have on hand, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, 1 cup of cane sugar, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, 2 cups of whole wheat flour, half a teaspoon of sea salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. We'll start with our 3 cups of cooked black beans and place them into our stand mixer. Lock it and place it on high. The idea is to turn these beans into a paste consistency. So, cooking your beans really well will help with this process. Make sure they're nice and soft because we're breaking them up. The next step we're going to do is add 3 eggs, and you can do that when you see the inside of the beans, when you see the paste. And I've added some of the black bean soaking and cooking water in there, and that'll give the cake moisture, which we like. Okay, that looks about good. Now I'm going to add in our 3 eggs and blend well. Slowly add in the remaining wet ingredients, which is a half a cup of olive oil, it's looking good. I can play with the speed here so that it blends nicely. Then our 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream, our vanilla extract, and while that's mixing, you can mix your dry ingredients. Turn it on low. So, we have 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of cane sugar, that was looking good, 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, our cinnamon, and 2 cups of whole wheat flour, salt and baking soda. Mix that well before you mix it in with your wet ingredients so that it's all evenly distributed. It's amazing that you can actually make a delicious dessert with beans. They're so versatile. They hang on to any flavor that you put in there and provide an amazing amount of nutrients. So this is perfect for you kiddos growing beans at school. All right, now add this into your wet mixture. You can add in a little bit at a time and blend on low. And you can slowly add it in. Okay. There we go. It's looking really nice in there. It's looking liquidy enough for it to be a cake batter rather than dry. You want it to be moist. awesome. So with this batter, you can put it in a 9 by 11 inch baking sheet if you like, baking pan, excuse me, or you can put it into 2 round cake pans, which is what we're gonna do today. All right, ooh, this looks good. As you can see, this consistency looks really good, so we're ready to go. Yummy. Next, we're gonna pour it into our cake pans. I have 2, and we're gonna stack them once they're done. These are non-stick pans, so you don't need to worry about greasing them, but if you need to grease them, do so. Evenly pour them into the cake pans, and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You'll cook these cakes for 20 to 25 minutes and let them cool fully before putting frosting on them. You'll see on my recipe that there's a coconut milk and honey frosting that you can layer this with and top it with. Now we'll put them in the oven. And here we have our finished midnight black bean cake with coconut milk and honey frosting. It's delicious. All right, so that concludes our pulse cooking demonstration. I hope that you go and explore ways of cooking pulses at home. Thank you so much.